Hey Scorpio, I'm going to look at a revisit. We've got a lot going into retrograde here coming up. So I'm going to give you a little advice reading on what to release, what to embrace, what you may be revisiting, what's hidden from you, and what the future outcomes may be. Then we'll clarify. I keep seeing a lot of Seven of Cups coming around here. I don't know if that's you or if it's very much me. Not, you know what I've found? If I judge something, I get a chance to experience. So I'm experiencing Seven of Cupsiness. Just a feeling of projecting, of illusions, of choices sometimes. I like to be decisive, so I think that's why I judge. But it's kind of nice to be, Jupiter's in Pisces, so just a little wishy-washy about everything. It's kind of relaxing after, I'm on summer break. So, okay, who cares about me, Scorpio? What about you? What do the cards want to tell you? Let's find out. We're going to be using the Urban Tarot again. So I'm learning this deck. So, all right. Well, let's definitely release the Ten of Swords. Ruin here. Ouch. Yeah. It's hard to release the Ten of Swords. It's hard not to constantly work over the loss. It's definitely the end of a cycle. This seems very much like, weirdly like a machine here, this ruin. And so when I think about a machine, like something working that's out of your control, that can be uncomfortable. It can be really hard to let go of something that is out of your control. Yeah, okay. You're going to embrace the Hermit. That's a good thing to do after a heartbreak, like the Ten of Swords. Some kind of very, very painful ending. It's good to go into yourself and look to your own light for healing, wisdom, to ascend to the next level. This person is looks like somebody kind of like a slightly crazy guy on the subway to me. Don't be ashamed to be, a little inward crazy. Talking to yourself is one of the things I do. All right. So with Jupiter in Pisces for a bit, and we've got Mercury shadow here. It can be it'll go into retrograde in a bit. And then we're also going to have Saturn in retrograde. So it's a good time to just plan to revisit something that you went through. And we'll see what that is. I learned from, you're going to be revisiting the seducer. Who is the seducer? Knight of Cups. Typically think of him as the classy love offer. Whatever happened there's a story. You had a classy heart feeling offer. The more I look at this card, it seems like a cheesy guy picking up a woman in a bar, but he's got a nice smile. He grows on me. It's just, I think, my queerness where I'm like, gross, a dude. So, anyway, pardon my queerness. So the seducer, whoever that is, you, somebody else, whatever happened there, we will pull more cards. Definitely makes this more fun. We were revisiting somebody, a seducer, you or someone else, in order to get out of this Ten of Swords state and embrace a state of hermiting. What you don't know. The Lovers. Wow. Okay. This is something that you didn't know. You need to become aware of it. The tarot wants you to know the Lovers are here. Lovers is a choice, and it's a choice because you've met like a deep soul connection, and everybody gets to be themselves and be loved as themselves in this, but they have to choose it. And it's actually harder than it sounds to choose true love. There's a lot of stuff that comes up, perhaps a 10 of Swords, a past heartbreak that you're having trouble letting go. Perhaps like the way that you maybe blamed this Knight of Cups for that heartbreak. But there is lovers here in play for you, Scorpio. So they're either a part of this heartbreak, it's a part of revisiting and reinterpreting the Knight of Cups, or this is in the stars for you coming ahead. The future is a Knight of Swords, the Game Master. That's interesting. I got this in a similar spread, just kind of playing around recently. And what I understood is somebody had been a fool, and now they were going to be better at thinking through their actions in love. So we'll see what that is for you. The Knight of Swords in your future. It could be somebody else, a real smart, strategic, intellectual person. Could be you. How you respond to this advice here. We shall see. I'm going to clarify. I'm going to clarify here with the Tarot of the Old Path, our Wicca-inspired deck. The Hanged Man wants to jump out right away. There's some kind of a changed perspective that you're going to get. That makes really good sense when you revisit during these times of retrograde. You get to go back over what happened, and it gets complicated. So if you look at if you look at the degrees on your chart, so that could be, for example, Saturn's going to be in the early degrees of Aquarius. So that's one way to look at it, is like, what's going on in my chart there, if you go deep into your astrology. Another way to look at it is when Saturn was last in this part of Aquarius, that was February through May 20 something. You'll have to Google these, Saturn in retrograde, etc. What was happening in your life then? That's the kind of stuff that astrologers tell us. We get to revisit this when planets go into retrograde, and they go back over ground that they covered, and then they'll cover it again as they go forward again. So, sorry if I'm being boring. I was literally just listening to Molly McCord's Wednesday intuitive astrology play. What is it? What are these? Yeah, it was on YouTube. You can find it. It's one of these newfangled things where you just listen. A podcast. Okay. I don't get podcasts, but I'm working on it. Okay. So let's look at this. What happened here with this ruin in your life? This sort of bunch of swords, some suggested fire, but honestly, this card leaves me a little bit cold. It seems, and which isn't bad when it comes to swords. I mean, that's not. I don't want to critique the artist here, but sometimes a 10 of Swords can be so painful for me to look at. It looks painful. This one looks very inevitable, very much a machine. Like, it's almost making me think of the wheel that, it just turns and there's nothing that you can do to change it. But sometimes when you've been hurt, you can spend a lot of time ruminating on that. So I see that here in the kind of machine makeup of the suggested machinery here of this image. And I also see that bloody sword in the middle. It looks messy, makes it sort of not, it's not balanced. So it's messy, chaos. I don't really like the colors or together, and like I kind of want to critique the artist of the card for some reason. So that's like a real habit of externalizing blame that can be a trap, and I do that. And so when I externalize blame, if I'm that person hurt me, like it's a good reminder to do inventory on what's my part here. What did I do? And that's why you're being told maybe to shift from this focus on ruin and go into a hermit mode where you look inward at yourself and to yourself, to your inner light. Okay, 10 of ruin. We have some control issue here. 4 of pentacles. We have feeling of being trapped. Perspective that you are stuck. 8 of swords. Yeah, I can see why the cards want you to leave this state of mind. It's not comfortable. And then there's a 5 of rods, kind of chaos, conflict, confusion. Yeah, boy. My nose is tickling. Okay, there is a lot of head game. It's a shitty headspace you're in, my Scorpio friend. You're trying to control and hoard and protect yourself, but you're trying all these things here, and you're trapped in all these bad ideas. So like whatever you're doing to the outside world, quit doing it. It's looking like you got really hurt, and yeah, you kind of why do I see revenge? There's like, I guess because this grumpy 4 of Pentacles guy, he's like very pissed off. He's in this particular version of the 4 of Pentacles. That can be a very powerful state to be in of, protecting, self-protection. I see a little bit of the way that the Fool is involved here in this 5 of Wands. So wands are about willpower, but there seems to be like a troublemaker here involved. And there could be that your friends are getting in on this, and sometimes friends want to like go over and over and over your drama because they're escaping their own drama. So even though the 8 of Swords is a place of being trapped here, this actually seems closest to the Hermit, and the direction that you want to go to is like looking inward to yourself. But for some reason you feel trapped, you're being controlling, and there's a bunch of idiots who are trying to give you advice here. And the cards say, let that go and embrace this Hermit, this mode of going to your own inner light. It doesn't look fun. It looks crazy feeling in this card. Some kind of phantom here on the behind him. Looking at that. What is that? I guess it's suggestive. It feels like the monsters of our minds here. I like this Hermit. I think it's a powerful representation of going away from society and going inward, in a very public space, like when you actually don't have the privilege of leaving the public realm, but you're still able to find solitude in it, in amongst others, and it's kind of be like, I don't want to talk to anybody, but I'm doing my own thing. I don't care if it looks crazy. Okay, so part of this embrace is the 10 of Rods, which is putting down some kind of burden here. This what you're being told to release. It feels like that burden. Doesn't seem. There's been a Tower moment, or this is some kind of surprise, and this is in your embrace. So, and a 2 of Rods. So this is for me another getting different perspective, getting up high on those stilts, sort of envisioning, looking ahead. It's a beginning, passionate, willful, a beginning that comes from will, you're putting down a burden, there's a tower. There's like, I feel like the tower is a revelation that you are having as the hermit. Like when you put down the burden of this 10 of ruin, which you're advised to do, you will have a tower moment, and it feels like a powerful one. Like what I see is his face in this tower. It's like, oh, aha. That's what I get. Like an aha moment that comes from you putting down control, feeling trapped, getting other people's feedback on whatever happened. And then you kind of get to begin with the baby steps of going forward with your journey. And that's, as you know, I always want to honor people's process. Like sometimes it needs to take time. To me, this looks like a brief hermit phase in which you get a revelation very quickly and are allowed to move forward. So in this phase, you're maybe while you're hermiting or during the time that we have planets in retrograde, certainly Mercury is already in play right now. You're going to get to look at the seducer through sometime in June. You have some time here to relook at this person that you've labeled the seducer. That's what I feel like. You've blamed somebody for your pain. And well, I relate. And you've blamed them like, they seduced me. That's what I feel. They offered the moon and the stars, and then they broke my heart. So let's get some perspective here on that. What do we want to learn here? Okay, well, there's a 9 of cauldrons. This is about personal individual fulfillment. In this deck, it's like kind of a self-centered pigginess to it, you know? It's just a lot on the table. Feels like she's serving him. He's like very self-centered seeming to me. He's much like this Knight of Cups, the seducer, is like, I look at him and I immediately, I'm like, yuck. And I feel the same way about this particular 9 of cauldrons. But then if I keep looking into that person's face, I see a human being with hopes and fears and dreams and insecurities, and that's what I see. And I think that perspective shift on whoever you've made into the predator or the seducer or whoever hurt you, like that new perspective is there if you actually just recognize they're just a screwed up person too. They're just doing their best. I don't know what your story is, but that's a thought. This allows you to, again, this is a movement card, 6 of Swords. It's a changing your mind can be how I see the 6 of Swords, because the swords are about your ideas and your philosophies and your understandings. And so moving through swords from one place to another can be very simply about relocating, but it can also be about looking at something from a different perspective. And that's what I feel is the basic overall advice here so far, really, Scorpio, is that you got hurt. You're a little bit trapped because of how you're looking at it, but you can move out of that in like this, with this new beginning, this new vision, really, for how you look at the past and move forward with your life. Well, there's freedom in that here. Yeah, and this Knight of Cups is definitely, here's another 10 of Swords. Somebody that hurt you. Then I see you walking away from this here. Once you relook at this person, they seem like a pig to you, like super selfish, took, really focused on themselves at your expense, and they hurt you, you know. Okay, the cards want you to know there's some lovers here for you as well. Maybe this Knight of Cups was a soul bond. I feel like this is different. I feel like the Lovers here is a different thing. And that if you do this work, get this new perspective, that you can walk forward towards that. But I don't know, because we see the Game Master as the future. So let's clarify. Let's clarify. I don't want to belittle your loss or your pain. I know for myself, there's a person that I think of as a 10 of Swords person. And, how many years do I want to center that person, be energetically connected to them because they hurt me? I kind of want to spend zero time on them. They already wasted plenty of my time. So that's why I feel like the tarot and your reader, want to encourage you to move on from this. You're ruminating. It's not feeling good. And you can have a quick revelation and move forward if you take some time to look at yourself. Okay. And re-look at this Knight of Cups. So there is a Six of Pentacles here. This is generosity, give and take is equalized. That goes for me with the Lovers, the way that they can have this mutual love and recognition within one another's eyes. To me, the Lovers is a divine love. It doesn't have to be a romantic love. It can be, but it's like a home for the heart and the soul. And it's mature. It's not like a Two of Cups is also like a soul bond. So I see the Six of Pentacles reinforcing this mutual back and forth of that. When you get a Six of Cauldrons, you get a kind of the Six of Cups is soulmate. Another card read as a soulmate card. It could be also a card of nostalgia as well. So maybe be careful and looking at this image in this particular deck. He's a little bit grabby, a hold of her, and she's a little bit like. So I love the Six of Cups, but when I read it in this deck, I don't love it. It reminds me of how I aspire to feeling space and freedom in my connections, and so it can also almost be like the past is coming and grabbing hold of you when there's this Lovers here, and then there's the ending, the world. Okay. Well, I'm sorry, but what this tells me is that the reason it's so hard to get over this is because that was true love for you. I'm going to guess you picked that person. When you get the Lovers, your heart said yes, and you did all the things. You put your heart on the table, as somebody once said to me. You put your heart on the table. You're all in, and then they don't put their heart on the table, and that really hurts. That fucking kills. Literally, 10 of Swords, it's like it killed. So it's the end of a cycle. The world reinforces that. It's time to walk away from this mess where you fell in love. Yeah, you did. I feel like you took a risk on this Knight of Cups, this seducer, because what you didn't know was, I wish this was for you ahead, that and of course, you don't get just the one time with the Lovers, but this Lovers it's about this. That's why the Six of Cauldrons is reading as a sticky, clingy, energetic attachment that the cards want you to, move away from. Do you see what I mean there? Yeah, she's like, get off me, dude. Get off me, Knight of Cups. That's it. Started out nice. It ended up like that. Yeah. They left you. They did, and they shocked you with that. I feel like though because they're not energetically letting you go. But anyway, the cards want you to know it's over, man. Scorpio, this hurt, but it's over. So if you want any help deciding to release this heartbreak, cards want to help you. So your future self coming in kind of strategic. This is a place where you spend some time, maybe just being strategic, being up in your head. He's got the sunglasses on. He's like a game master. So he's playing chess. So, and then you can see in the background the knight riding fast. There can be anger still in the future, but what I see is like he's hiding his tells. He's hiding his heart behind strategy, and so that can be a place that you spend time in for a while after a heartbreak like this. I mean, it takes a long time to get over a lover's connection with a Six of Cauldrons. So we might see you here in the future, Scorpio, being very strategic, not letting anybody hurt you again. Okay. King of Cauldrons, but there's your heart. And the King of Cauldrons has a deep heart, emotional intelligence. He doesn't open up and talk about his feelings, but he's deep. So that's behind your strategy. That's you. That's one of the Scorpio cards in the deck is the King of Cauldrons. So is the Tower. We get to be all the cards that are about death and destruction and grief and being reborn like a phoenix from the ashes, right? Okay. Looks like there's some justice in your future. That's always nice when somebody hurt you and you get some justice. Let's see one more card here. The Emperor. Jeez. Yeah, you're looking a little bit well, in the future I see you very slowly recovering from this heartache through a process in which you relook at this person and you need to get out of victim mode with them, but you also need the cards are also honoring that this was a deep connection that they walked away from, and it hurt, and it was hard to believe they walked away from it because you knew it was the lovers, it was the Six of Cauldrons, it was the thing that you look for your whole life long, but they walked away from it and it's over, and they're kind of selfish and shitty in your memory, and the cards want you to relook at how you've perceived them and the importance that you've assigned them. I honestly do see them as having harmed you. Yeah, I see them having harmed you. Really kind of fucked with your head. That's what I see. And that hurt. And they didn't let go of you even though they didn't choose you. They breadcrumbed you. That's another reading of the Six of Pentacles. This is truly like my least favorite card in the tarot. I'd rather have a Nine of Swords than a Six of Pentacles. I don't like this card, but so I try to read it in a positive way as soon as I see it, just because I know I'm biased. But Six of Pentacles is quite often read by tarot readers as breadcrumbing, where somebody leads you along and they never let you go. They don't choose you. And that's really can be coming from a very unhealthy place. A person who is themselves wounded. That's why this Ten of Ruin, what you're going to release here, it's really so much out of your power, as is the Tower. This happens. It's sudden. There's nothing you can do about it. And it's been a burden to you. And you can put that burden down and go forward. in the future you're coming in like alpha, 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 king, emperor, justice. The cards tell me that you are still in the future engaged in the process that I think is a part of grieving a Ten of Swords ending, which is really getting into your cut and dry. It's not a Queen of Swords here, but the Emperor is like yes, no, decisive, stubborn, your fixed sign. So stubborn can serve you. And the Knight of Swords, riding through the red there, some spell of anger, of strategy. Sometimes justice is like, so you get justice ahead. So if you want justice with this person, the cards are saying that may happen, that card is like, the karma is not the karma card, but it's one of the ones where it's like, ooh, I hope you're on the right side of justice because it's coming ahead for you or for this Knight of Cups. But it can also mean for me, like, there's a part of my Scorpio fixedness is that I have trouble letting go of my revenge fantasies. Yeah, that's a trap. You're in a trap, my dear. And underlying, we have quite a few things. Okay, so we have underlying this. I just maybe this is too correct. Like there is love in your future, and the Four of Cups is a perfect card for this. Look at these two guys. They look like a couple to me. They're having their day of milk and cookies. It's a comfortable couple that's been together for a while, and you can focus on spilled milk or empty glasses, but there's a big full Ace of Cups right there for you, full of milk. And then in my head, milk and honey, the land of milk and honey. Four of Cups is always like that perspective shift that this reading is telling you to get into is like turn away from what's over, what's gone, what's emptied, what's ruined by this Ten of Swords, and look at that new Ace of Cups. And then I encourage you to do that because there's a Two of Cups here for you. This is what you deserve, Scorpio. Equal, sweet, new love. There's a new thing coming in. There's a couple of twos here. It's Two of Cups following that Ace of Cups that is emphasized in the four. And then there's your Emperor again. Emperor could be somebody else. I feel like it's you, though. You being powerful, coming into your power. And the Eon 20. Walking towards the next world. Remember you got the world? This is going forward towards that new world, crossing that bridge. It's not a card in every deck. Let me look at this with you, my friend. That's funny. The Hanged Man card is upside down in this book. Wonder if they did that on purpose. The Eon is about seeing yourself and your life as part of a greater cycle of time. It is about looking at your place in history and trying to see yourself through the eyes of those who came before, those who are yet to come. In many traditional tarot decks, the 20th card is called Judgment. Oh, okay. I'm glad I looked at that. Okay, so Judgment, the Eon, is, it's a card of ascension to the next phase of your life. What does this say? The card is a call to take a look at what you have done with your time on the planet and to ask yourself how you will face your creator when that time is over. In this instance, I much prefer to use the connotations of Crowley's Aeon, in which we see time as a cycle that continues perhaps into infinity. And we are judged not by divine justice, but by what we leave behind for generations yet to come. That's such a good check back into this reading here, because the obsessiveness of heartbreak takes us out of being purposeful members of our society. Yeah, and there's a message that I've been getting in these cards lately of focus not on the love, the little romantic, personal love, your little love. Focus on your big love. Yeah, focus on your big love. The love of the King of Cauldrons here. The love of your planet, of your people, for justice, for social justice in the world. Yeah, and so then we get the lovers and we get the world. Or this breadcrumbing Six of Cauldrons obsession that won't let go. You can turn toward choosing love for the bigger thing. Yeah, and then you get the Princess of Discs, who's the kindergarten teacher. This is the kind of person that brings love to the world. This is a great suggestion for how to get out of the Ten of Cups ruin. This is the last card. It will help you with this Six of Swords, which is movement forward towards a new frame of mind. It says science, so putting your mind to a scientific, intellectual, philosophical solution, heart and mind. Yeah. It does feel like this is a process that begins in your mind and comes down into your heart. And there is a Two of Cups here and the Ace of Cups, and that I mentioned here with these little cuties together. That's here, underlying energy. But there's also the Aeon and the Emperor and the kindergarten teacher calling you to, maybe while you're healing, to open your heart in a more global sense to your world, to your people, to look towards justice within the world instead of like revenge on this asshole that broke your heart. Yeah, so that's the story today, Scorpio. I hope that helps you in some way. Doesn't have to be a romantic story, but the cards are this particular Urban Tarot deck. Like the people are just so compelling. It gives you both this really personal, individual narratives are really easy to come from it, but then it's constantly kind of, the artist is queer and is directing us to also think about how we can read these cards in a larger sense, as well as just the personal. So I hope you like this. Interesting reading. I'm glad I'm not where you are, my dear Scorpio. Sometimes these readings aren't about me. I've been here, and I'm glad to have walked away from this. And yeah, it was a long, painful road. I'm glad I'm done with it. So best of luck to you on this journey.